is transforming that city by going soft on crime. Krasner says that he wants to lock up violent criminals. That's his public position, but it's obviously untrue. Consider the case of Sean Skellinger. Skellinger was stabbed to death in public in 2018. There was no question about who did it. The guy who did it admitted doing it. Krasner's office charged that man with first-degree murder, but later downgraded the charges to third-degree murder. And then, days before trial, Krasner downgraded the charges once more to manslaughter. And that blew up the case completely. The killer, again, the acknowledged killer, was acquitted last month. And that, of course, was clearly Krasner's plan. Now, the victim's mother says Krasner did that. He's responsible. He should be punished. We spoke to Linda Skellinger recently about this. Here's the conversation. First, I couldn't be sorrier about what happened to your son and how your family was treated by the city of Philadelphia. Explain to us why you hold Larry Krasner guilty, why you think he's the reason that the killer walked free.
Yeah, thank you, Tucker. I clearly think that he is the reason that the killer walked free. As I stated on the last day of the trial, I said to the judge that I wanted Larry arrested for obstruction of justice. And I will not rest until I see him in handcuffs. I do believe that potentially criminal activity has occurred here on behalf of the district attorney. He has suppressed evidence in an effort to continue to reduce charges. So there's many instances, we don't have time here to go through all of that, but many instances that I can provide you where he has suppressed evidence, Facebook posts, videos that were created by Michael White, the killer, the defendant here, and they were pre-killing Sean, going to his premeditation that he was going to kill someone. He certainly didn't know Sean. Sean happened to be the unlikely recipient of that stabbing in the back. Also, videos that he made after he killed him, talking about blood in the street and rapping about it. Those were never admitted into evidence. So it's disgusting.
The position, essentially, of the city, and this played out in public, it was a huge story in Philadelphia for our viewers who didn't follow it, essentially was the killer claimed that your son made a racial comment to him. No one heard this. It seemed clearly that he made it up. But on the basis of that, Krasner's position appeared to be, well, you know, you deserve to be killed for that.
Yeah, isn't that interesting? So no one corroborated, not one eyewitness. It's Rittenhouse Square on a Thursday evening in the summer. There's joy. People are outside. The restaurants are open for business. These people had no dog in this fight. They didn't know Michael. They didn't know Sean. Not one person heard this racial slur except for Michael.
Right.
So interesting. Right.
And then so he rapped about it. He, in effect, bragged about murdering your son after the killing.
Yes.
And why was that never admitted? Why wouldn't jurors be able to see that? I mean, that seems significant, to put it mildly.
Tucker, that is a question that I would like to get the answer to. Mr. Krasner, I am not the only mother, so I am not unique, unfortunately. I am not unique. I am not going to be able to bring my son back, but I will be darned if I'm going to stand by and allow this to continue. I literally, as I'm walking into your studio, got a call from a mother. Her son was killed, third-degree murder. They dropped it today to aggravated assault.
And he was murdered?
This is what he does. And he was murdered. He's dead. Yes, a 30-year-old young man, another one dead. I can line up for you hundreds of mothers in this city that are in the same position that I am in. The continuation of the reduction of charges for violent criminals. We're not talking about theft. We're not talking about misdemeanors. We're talking about taking someone's life. Mr. Krasner has continually suppressed the evidence in order to reduce the charges. This was a murder one charge, as you said at the start.
Yes.
The assistant district attorney, Lou Tomolo, who was originally the charging prosecutor, charged murder one. And he believed that this was a murder one charge because there was premeditation, as Michael had put out on his Facebook post. He said he was going to cut someone. He said, I am going to cut someone.
So Larry Krasner is one of many prosecutors taking the side of criminals, is in effect installed by George Soros, who shows up in this country with a lot of money and decides to transform our country. So if you had a message for George Soros, if he were sitting here and you could say something to him, what would it be?
You know, it's interesting because I sent him a note and I haven't heard from him yet. And what I said to him was, you are on a mission for justice reform and reducing mass incarceration. I don't think this was your intention to allow killers to walk the street. Can you give me 10 minutes of your time to have a discussion about how justice reform should not include violent criminals and allowing killers to walk the street? There's a difference. So he has a rogue DA here, and unfortunately, it appears to be contagious in our country, this rogue DA, that they have gone on a power trip to take this into craziness. I mean, it will be anarchy at some point. Where do we go from here? It's literally frightening.
Well, it's taken the life of your son already. We are rooting for you, and I hope that you will come. I hope that you will come back and give us an update on this, and I hope you get justice. Thanks so much for joining us tonight.
I will. Thank you.
Good. Thank you.